Okay, today is Tuesday. It's the 14th according to the phone. And you had a lot on your assignment and you still had to watch the video, so I'm not sure how long the video was. Remember, I'm not making your lessons. I'm just giving you what they're giving me. So this was the assignment 512 to 518, and I guess this was the beginning. 12.3 communities. Y'all, that bird has a good, like, imagine that as a hat. Very interesting. Okay, so we're right here, and this looks much more interesting than the other thing. So 512 to 518. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like read 9 pages and answer the questions on everything. Great. Okay. That was a sarcastic great. Right here, communities, habitats, and niches, or niches. It depends. It really doesn't matter. Habitat, habitus, meaning to live, dwell. Okay. Ferns. Okay, got it. Sorry, distracted. Okay, it says, high in a rainforest tree, a two-toed sloth munches leaves. Ants crawl on a branch carrying away a dead beetle. 2 birds build a nest. A flowering vine twists around the tree trunk. These organisms are part of a rainforest community. Recall that a community is made up of all the species that live in the same ecosystem at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that. Community, all the species that live in the ecosystem at the same time. It says, the place within an ecosystem where an organism lives is its habitat, aka its home. Okay. A habitat like the one in figure 1 provides all the resources an organism needs, including food and shelter, or else you wouldn't be able to live there. Sorry. A habitat also has the right temperature, water, and other conditions that the organism needs to survive. It says, the rainforest tree described above is a habitat for sloths, insects, birds, vines, and many other species. Each species uses the habitat in a different way. Niche, I'm going to go with that. Niche. There's, I don't know. You should Google the pronunciation of this word. A niche is what a species does in its own habitat to survive. Kind of like a role, I guess. I would think of a niche as a role for an organism to play. For example, butterflies feed on flower nectar. Sloths eat leaves. Ants eat insects or plants. These species have different niches in the same environment. Each organism shown in figure 1 has its own niche on the tree. The plants anchor themselves to the tree and can capture more sunlight. Termites use the tree for food. Okay, here we go. Identify 4 resources that organisms need to form a habitat, and then describe the relationship between a habitat and a niche. Ooh. Not ready. It's early, at least for me. What time have y'all been going to sleep? Okay, 4 things you need to do a habitat. So this is where it started talking about habitat. So it has food, water. Okay, so food and shelter. Food and shelter. Food and shelter. Then it also says that a habitat has the right temperature, water, and other conditions. So we'll go temperature. So we're going to say, like, right temperature. Think of it like Goldilocks. Okay, it's got to be something that it can survive in. So it's got the right temperature, and it also has water. Abbreviate. The place where an organism lives, it's its home. Home and habitat, they both start with an H. So that's just a way to remember, although this should be pretty easy for you. The way a species interacts with abiotic and biotic factors to fulfill needs is its niche. It's like the role it plays. I know I did not spell that right. Okay, niche with an E. Easy. Okay, next one. Energy and communities. Hold on, guys. Gotta check the time. Sloths are the slowest mammals on Earth. They hardly make a sound, and they sleep 15 to 20 hours per day. Interesting. Squirrel monkeys, however, chatter as they swing through the treetops hunting for fruit, insects, and eggs. Sloths might appear to use no energy at all. However, sloths, squirrel monkeys, and all other organisms need energy to live. All living things use energy. Okay. Y'all, usually the most important sentences are the first sentence and the last sentence, just like an FYI. All living, oh my goodness, Lord help me. All living things use energy and carry out life processes such as growth and reproduction. So energy roles. So living things in all ecosystems, including marine and freshwater. Okay, marine means it has salt in the water. Freshwater is no salt. Okay, and terrestrial, like tierra in Spanish, it means like earth. So things that are like on land. You need to think of it like that. Okay, and terrestrial ecosystems must obtain energy to carry out life processes. Some organisms obtain energy from the environment and make their own food, aka plants. Other, or like decomposers, other organisms obtain energy from eating other organisms. If you are eating another organism, you are called a consumer. I'm trying to make it fit, y'all. There we go. Consumer. How an organism obtains its energy is an important part of its niche. Ugh, I give up. Almost all the energy available to life on Earth originally came from the sun. So the sun is the ultimate source of power here, pretty much. This is the source of energy for everything on Earth. However, some organisms, such as those that live near deep sea vents, are exceptions. They obtain energy from chemicals such as hydrogen sulfide. Okay. Identify how carnivores get their energy. Well, I already know. Carne, like in Spanish, is meat, right? So it eats, how do I say this in a nice way? Eats other organisms. No. Other organisms. How do I say this? With flesh? I'm gonna go with that. They eat meat, okay? Easy. Finally, something. This is totally 7th grade, so this should be easy. Producers are organisms that get energy from their environment, such as sunlight, and make their own food. So plants. Okay. Hopefully you know that plants are these organisms. Says, for example, most plants are producers that get their energy from sunlight. They use the process of photosynthesis, and make sugar molecules that they use for food. So in this case, the sugar molecule is glucose. Okay, C6H12O6, you should know that. Some bacteria near deep sea vents on the ocean floor are producers that use hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide and make sugar molecules. Okay. Consumers are organisms that get energy by eating other organisms. Okay, but it's like specifically... Never mind. Carnivore? Yeah, never mind. There's 3 types of consumers. Consumers are classified by the type of organisms they eat. Herbivores, so herbivores, highlighter. Herbivores, like, I think of it like herb. Herb means it's eating a plant. Green sea turtles, cows, and sheep are herbivores. Carnivores, such as the snake in figure 2, okay, got it, get their energy by eating other consumers. Okay. So a carnivore, and it told you to underline it. So carnivores, such as the snake, get energy by eating other consumers. Okay, so they're eating flesh. Sorry guys, this angle is really bothering me. I'm not sure why I'm having a problem today. Where am I? Oh yeah, right there. Great white sharks, river otters, and wolves are carnivores. Omnivores, such as most humans, get their energy by eating producers and consumers. Detrivores. It's relatively new for you. Oh, I hate that I can't zoom when I'm recording. Not me. There. Detrivores. Detrivores get their energy by eating dead organisms or parts of dead organisms. For this reason, detrivores are often called decomposers. So it says some bacteria and fungi are classified as detrivores. During decomposition, decomposers produce carbon dioxide that enters the atmosphere and the carbon cycle. Some of the decayed matter they break down enters the soil. In this way, detrivores help recycle nutrients through ecosystems. Sorry, my allergies are acting up. Next one. Energy vote. Yay! Yes. Okay. Identify why or where energy originates in a food web. Kind of a trick question. Energy originates in a food web. Okay, so the food web is just a bunch of food chains that are all connected together. So it looks like, you get the point, and they all have arrows, okay, things like that. The source of anything at the food web should be at the bottom. Sometimes they like move it to the side, but it's all from the same spot. It's where all the arrows are originating from. So that question has been answered. Okay. Energy flow. A food chain is a way of showing how energy moves through a community. Sorry, I was checking my phone. In a rainforest community, energy flows from the sun to a rainforest tree, which is a producer. The tree uses the energy and grows, producing leaves and other plant structures. Energy moves to consumers such as the sloth that eats the leaves of the tree, and then to the eagle that eats the sloth. Oh, how sad. When the eagle dies. Okay, revenge. Detrivores such as bacteria feed on its body. The food chain can be written as this. Was that part of your homework? Oh no, never mind. It wasn't. Okay, so they give you this. Okay, remember that the arrow always points to where the energy is going. Okay. A food chain shows only part of the energy flow in a community. A food web, like the one in Figure 3, shows many food chains within a community and how they overlap. Recall that marine and freshwater communities are composed of producers and consumers. You can describe food webs for the overlapping food chains in these communities too. And they give you this picture. Okay. The ultimate source of energy for anything, and if they don't have it, it should always be the sun. Unless in your question they don't give you sun as an option. But the sun is like... Sorry, I need to... There. The sun is the ultimate source of energy. So we're just going to say sun for this. I was kind of trying not to answer it, but I don't want you to get confused. The sun is usually the source of energy. Like 99.9% of the time. Okay, so they give you a picture. So why does energy go to the beetle? No, never mind. From the flowers. Okay, dead fruit. There it is. When something dies, it goes here. It gets recycled. There you go. Analyze the food chain below. Identify the role of each link. Identify the role of each link? Okay, I'm just going to say the sun represents energy. So I'm not even going to write this out. The fruit gets energy. Okay, I'm just going to put a slash. So the fruit is a producer. He gets energy from the sun. Okay. Squirrel monkey. How do you spell squirrel? There it is. Squirrel monkey, we're going to say, gets energy. It's eating the fruit. Y'all, are they omnivores or are they herbivores? I'm going to say omnivore. So we're going to say, or better yet, let's call it secondary consumer. This would be the primary. Nope, this is the primary consumer. I'm just going to put that. Primary consumer, because it's the first to eat something. Harpy eagle would be, ooh, okay. Harpy eagle. Okay, harpy eagle, the squirrel monkey is giving energy to the eagle, which means the eagle has eaten the monkey. So if it's eating the flesh of an animal, it's a carnivore. Did I spell that right? Looks good. Okay, draw the food chain mentioned in the space below. Include drawings of each part of the chain. Place the arrows to show how. Yes! Finally! Okay, let me see. Sun. Okay, here we go. Let's give it some sun. Don't judge. Some of y'all have more interesting drawings than me. Okay, so there's my sun. And then, what was the fruit? That's not very specific, so I'm just going to say, oranges grow on trees, right? Yeah, I'm going to go with that. So, here's my tree, and here's the fruit. Just gonna, so, energy to the tree from there, okay? Fruit. So, I don't have no idea how to draw a monkey. So, we're going to act like Don't judge. There. There's my monkey, and it's getting fruit. Boom! Okay. Yeah, what was it? Okay. Sun, got it. So, fruit, which is our producer. Okay, got it. Okay, fruit gives energy to monkey, got it. Heartbeat eagle. Oh no. Here. I don't know what an eagle looks like. There. I'm gonna go with my heartbeat eagle. And then because he ate the monkey, there's the monkey's tail. Fwishu. And we are done. Easy. Okay, hold on, checking this thing. Guys, I'm nervous. I have a meeting later. Okay, this is done. Oh my goodness, I don't think I'm gonna have time to finish it. Okay, relationships in communities. Yes, you have to make this foldable, so don't think you're getting out of that. Relationships in communities. Hold on, what time is it? Am I gonna have time? Okay, so yeah, we're doing it. Relationships in communities. The populations that make up a community interact with each other in a variety of ways. Some species have feeding relationships. They eat or are eaten by other species. Some species interact with another species to get the food or shelter they need. So they use each other, okay? So predator-prey relationship. Predator is the one who's eating. Prey is the one being eaten. So it says, hungry squirrel monkeys quarrel, fight, over a piece of fruit. They don't notice the heartbeat eagle above them. Suddenly, the eagle swoops down and grabs one of the monkeys in its talons. Harpy eagles and monkeys have a predator-prey relationship. The eagle, like other predators, hunts other animals for food. Hunted animals such as the squirrel monkey or insect shown at the beginning of this lesson are called prey. Predator-prey relationships also occur in freshwater and marine ecosystems. For example, in freshwater ecosystems, great blue herons hunt frogs, and striped bass eat young blue crabs. An example of predator-prey relationships in the ocean would be leopard seals eating fish and squid. Mussels are prey for sea stars. Recall that predators help prevent prey populations from growing too large for the carrying capacity of an ecosystem. So basically, you know, like in social studies, they tell you like checks and balances. Like other species or organisms, they're keeping each other in check to prevent too many organisms of one type. Okay, because if you have too much of anything, it can cause problems for the ecosystem. So carrying capacity, blah blah blah. The timber rattlesnake is a well-known predator in eastern Texas. Like all predators, it often captures weak or injured individuals of a prey population. When the weak members of a population are removed, there are more resources. Dang, that was so harsh, but it's true. Let me underline that. There are more resources for the remaining members. This decreases competition among members of a population who compete for biotic and abiotic factors, biotic living, abiotic non-living. This also helps keep the prey population healthy. That was harsh, but it's true. What's that? Oh, the leafcutter ants. Okay. Cooperative relationships. So cooperative, working together, we're going to say it's good. The members of some populations work together in cooperative relationships for their survival. Like the leafcutter ants shown in figure 4. Meerkats cooperate with each other, raise young, and watch for predators. Squirrel monkeys benefit in a similar way by living in groups. They cooperate as they hunt for food and watch for danger. Symbiotic relationships. Some species have close relationships that they are almost always found living together. A close long-term relationship, highlighted. A close long-term relationship between two species that usually involves an exchange of food or energy is called symbiosis. So you need to think of this like there are 3 types of symbiosis: mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. This is something that's talked about in biology. And then they have a question right here that you need to answer. Okay. In fact, I'm going to answer this question with you. Okay. Explain how flowers and bees have a symbiotic relationship. Symbiotic means that they're working together. So the benefits for a flower when a bee goes to take its nectar is that a bee travels all over the place, right? So as the bee is traveling, it's cross-pollinating that flower. So there's a greater likelihood that there will be more of those flowers in another location. So that's the benefit for the bee. No, for the flower. The bee benefits through flowers because why? It needs the nectar to make the honey. So they're both benefiting from this situation. Yeah, try fitting that on. What is that? That's a tiny area. Oh, that's ugly. Okay, sorry. Mutualism. Boxer crabs and sea anemones share a mutualistic partnership as shown in figure 5. A symbiotic relationship in which both partners benefit is called mutualism. So for the bee and the flowers, you could think of it like mutualism. They're both getting something out of it. Boxer crabs and sea anemones live in tropical coral reef communities. Nemo. The crabs carry The crabs carry sea anemones in their claws. The sea anemones have stinging cells that help the crabs fight off predators. Interesting. The sea anemone eats leftovers from the crab's meals. Whoa. Okay, not judging. I'm so nervous. Ugh. Commensalism. A symbiotic relationship that benefits one species but does not harm or benefit the other. Interesting. So someone's getting something out of this, but the other person's getting nothing. You have to think of this like a smart person and a dumb person. The dumb person would probably benefit off the smart person, but the smart person is probably not getting anything off the dumb person. That was kind of harsh too. Okay, plants called epiphytes, shown in figure 6. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, grow on the trunks of trees and other objects. The roots of an epiphyte anchor it to the object. The plant's nutrients are absorbed from the air. Epiphytes benefit from attaching to tree trunks by getting more living space and sunlight. The trees are not helped or harmed by the plants. Orchids are another example of epiphytes that have commensal relationships with trees. I didn't know that. Parasitism. Interesting. Parasitism, so obviously parasite, not good. A symbiotic relationship that benefits one species and harms the other is parasitism. The species that benefits is the parasite. Oh, this is sad. The species that is harmed is the host. Okay, so host and parasite. These are your words. So heartworms, tapeworms, fleas, and lice are parasites that feed on a host organism such as a human or a dog. Mostly dogs, hopefully. The parasites benefit by getting food. The host usually is not killed, but it can be weakened. For example, heartworms in a dog can cause the heart to work harder. Eventually, the heart can fail, killing the host. Other common parasites include snails that feed on sea cucumbers in marine ecosystems and leeches that feed on frogs in freshwater ecosystems. The larvae of the hunting wasp. Ew! I'm sorry, I get gross. Out. Okay, the larvae of the hunting wasp is another example of a parasite. The female wasp, shown in figure 7, stings a spider to paralyze it. Then she lays eggs in its body. When the eggs hatch in the larvae, they eat the paralyzed spider's body. I can't. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Another example of parasitism is the strangler fig. The seeds of the strangler fig sprout on the branches of a host tree. The young strangler fig sends roots into the tree and down into the ground below. The host tree provides the fig with nutrients and a trunk for support. The strangler... Oh, this is why they call it that. The strangler figs grow fast and they can kill a host tree by strangling it. That makes sense to me. Oh my god, sorry guys, this is a really long video. I didn't mean for it to be like this, but it's a lot of work that they gave you today. So, you're doing the summarize it on 519. That's easy. So let's write down this really quick. There's 3 types of symbiotic relationships. They are mutualism. Yeah, right. Sorry, allergies. Mutualism. So I'll help you out. Mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. Okay, voila. I would basically do definition, 3 types, make that fit. Yeah, you probably should define those too. You're doing all of this. Sorry that I didn't. Wait. I don't think you're doing... Okay, you're doing the vocab. You're doing the essential question. You're doing these. No, I'm sorry. You're doing it all. My bad. I thought that you weren't doing it all. Anyway, have a great day. See ya.